figured that the chairperson would have the line and then you two could. So, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Scott Minder, engineer, will discuss secondary road matters. Just first?
No, that's City Road.
What did we?
Okay, now just push that one. 75.
Oh, it's got down.
We're having lots of tech problems today. 30.
It's 75-30, but I had 71 in my head for some reason.
He might be out on the project, so.
They were out there this morning when I
Probably
go by.
go later.
All right, we'll move on to discuss nuisance order.
Ordinance.
Ordinance, excuse me. Thank you.
So did anybody see the part where,
Unincorporated part?
yeah,
No, I need to,
the high concentration unincorporated part?
I couldn't find it, so.
That's the part I was hoping that we could mark up.
Right. So really, it's still just, all I found was that it was one of the terms, just like all the
Right.
other
Yeah.
terms, but I never found it anywhere in the rest of it.
So I don't think we can really action on this today until we get some.
I do feel like we need to incorporate the information that was in the original ordinance and put it into the amended ordinance 5, because I think there's a lot of stuff there that needs to continue to be in our ordinance.
Yeah, some of it was even eye-opening, like, gosh, I wish we'd have pulled this out in a couple other situations.
Like in section 9 of the old one
Mm-hmm.
with the question mark,
Yes.
might have something to do with, could be used in a litigation somewhere
Yeah.
east of town.
Yep.
She wasn't available today.
No, she's at county attorney school.
Okay.
And I think we set this public hearing, but maybe we need to
Has joined.
set it back.
Push it back a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to get this right,
Mhm.
for sure. It was interesting to read the one signed by Robert Paulson and Don Grotwald and Bob Langfold.
I guess I'd like to table this. Trying to do it right. Trying to get to,
Well, and I think she was just showing you the two side by side of
right,
what,
right.
but,
And she got the message last week what we're trying to do,
uh-huh,
so hopefully she can come up with something on that.
so we just need to add the purple stuff into the amendment and then make sure it says something about the village, or the
Unincorporated.
unincorporated in the
It's
nuisance.
probably,
Yeah, and whatever verbiage she feels is gonna be the best, you know, because you have to define
Mhm.
what you're
Yep,
addressing, I guess.
and you have to keep it within reason, so you're not affecting everybody who's trying to have a farming operation or something.
And they had that separate in here, kind of, didn't they?
Uh,
A separate one that was the nuisance restrictions on farms and acreages. I agree, I think we need to table it and get her input on it.
okay,
All right, then we'll move on to number 6. Discussion with possible action, railroad property easement in Newton Township. I'm laying right on the edge of the counter. Walk right by it, like there.
So we're not able to bring the thing up, are we? Okay.
So as was discussed yesterday, the actual location of the easement is gonna be kind of variable depending on your studies.
We'd like to focus on where you guys would like to have it, and that's where we would like to shoot for that, but if, in case it was to come up for something environmental or what have you, then that would be the only reason we could make it. For constructability issues.
can you start over and explain?
Okay, so this is the railroad bed in Newton Township that, it's under the abstract of Winnebago County.
Okay.
And it's been managed by the Winnebago County Conservation. And they are looking at trying to cross it with, what do you call it, the line?
So we're, next year is wanting to bore under the abandoned railroad. From Dan Ryerson's property, well, he surrounds that according to the map. And I have one of these if you would like to look at it. And you'll just look past it. But
Thank you.
anyhow, we're looking for a 300-foot easement. And, we bore underneath it. However, originally, we were looking at the south. But once we got to looking into the south, and it was brought to our attention that there's wetlands on the south side on Dan's property, as well as there's a lot more trees. So then I said, well, what about the north? Because there's actually a road or something there as well, and there's not near as many trees. So that's why we said we could possibly do it on the north. The only way we can do it is if it's not constructible based off of the environmental studies.
Okay.
And those studies won't take place until March or April. So, what I had asked was that we go with the intentions of the 300-foot easement on the north end, with the option to, if that doesn't work, that we're gonna move it a little further down, you know, we're gonna do what we can to accommodate for everybody. And go from there.
So I think what you had indicated was nothing on top is gonna be,
That's correct, it's gonna be below ground. The damage will be on the landowner, Dan Anderson's property.
Okay.
From where we dig the hole to go underneath and when we come out.
We discussed our, visual letter yesterday and your, he's an engineer, but the lines will be spaced out far enough and deep enough that I don't see any significant environmental damage to the, you know, but it right clips a couple of figures, but they're gonna be small enough and yeah, I don't see any.
We'll ask Stan to provide us tiling maps as well if he has them available. If not, he can guess or somebody can provide us whatever. I am requesting to have tiling language added in case we do hit some tiling when we're boring to where we will replace it for the life of the project. As well as compaction to where if we do disturb the easement area that we were talking about, that we will pay for the compaction that we could cost on that one.
And this is for Dan, or is this for the
That
county?
is the county.
Okay.
That has changed. I don't want to get into figures, but it has changed and, per the request of the meeting yesterday.
Okay.
and, I know NextEra had the best interest of the county EMS in the down payment part of it, that they would like to put that money towards.
Yes, that's the reason why we approached, with what we did on our operative is because of me coming to a board of supervisors meeting in the past and hearing about the EMS equipment that was needed. And so with safety in mind, that's what we had. That's the reason we came to this. You know, there's what the county does with this is totally their business, not ours. So that we normally try to go with who the surface owner is or how the title reads. And so, well, that's the reason why I've been involved with everybody is because I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I did go ahead based off of the information I was provided yesterday. I went ahead and I did request the agreement and I have included Kelsey, as well as the attorney that will be working with our attorney to make sure that we get both sides of the party, that everybody's taken care of. So once I get that and I get a Word document, then our attorney will more than likely email it right to Kelsey for approval to look over everything. If there's any changes, then they will discuss that on their own between the two legal teams, and then I'll just be the one that will come and present this for signatures. I did go ahead and ask, and Kelsey may change this, but I did put all 3 supervisors on there for signatures. Didn't know the protocol, but that's what I did. And other than that, we're putting a rush on it and we're hoping to get this taken care of as soon as possible so that we can move forward with our project.
Okay.
All I'm asking for today is to get motion to move forward with this to where I can get the documents and get it to Kelsey for approval, as well as y'all will get a copy as soon as I get a copy. It don't make any sense for me to come back and forth until the red line copy is done with the legal team. So as soon as that is done, then I will let y'all know and see about getting back on the board or, I mean, on this for signature.
I do wanna, something from the back and just from the door. But, and I know for confidentiality reasons, not discussing amounts and stuff, but there are some, you know, if I would have some thoughts and would predate the, you know, being discuss with you guys, fairly soon, just my thoughts that I had about the project.
Potential budget need
Yeah,
projects.
maybe like,
Do you have an extra one or?
um,
Make a copy?
you can make. You see on there, there's a number of projects that are kind of in the range of, that you're discussing. And, some of them are, a number of them are revenue generating projects, those kind of are some that will get priority for us, going forward, but
Well, there's one that's thinking outside the box, bison program.
yeah, it's been ever since I started, and you stand in the nature center that overlooking the prairie, that we have some wild bison out there, and we could,
Have you checked with the neighbors yet, or?
we haven't gotten very far. I've gotten into some just personal rough estimates on the fencing costs, and it's not in the immediate future, but it could be something that would be a self-sustaining or potentially profitable asset to the nature set, bringing a historic animal back to the land. And
Somebody's got a product out there now that actually, you don't need fences. It's kind of like a dog collar thing, only
really,
from your app on your phone, and you can move their pasture from one place to another from your phone. It's amazing.
I'd want to.
So if we had that today with our IT problems, those bison would be on 69.
I'd want some pretty
Freezing
ironclad
passions.
insurance guarantees on that one.
I kind of like some of these ideas, and
As the meeting ended yesterday, I asked Chris to just put some long-range planning thoughts and ideas together so we all kind of know, some of the wish list.
Sure. And we do have a couple of staff members that will be, nearing retirement in the next 5 years. So, the staffing side, that's a consideration as far as any, reorganization or.
yeah, I'm guessing your board will probably work through things like this and kind of maybe come up with 5-year, 10-year plan.
Right, yeah.
What the
Prioritize
priorities
things
would be, and
stuff, and I did get the report back from the engineer on the Ambrose Bridge with some of the deficiencies. I think there's some hope there that we might be able to fix what's there as opposed to needing to replace for what it's the cost of replacement. Be great to have a little wider bridge that we could get mowers and equipment back and forth, but that's you're well into 6 figures to have a walking bridge across. It gets used a lot, but it's hard to justify it for that kind of money for a park. That money could go a long ways towards other projects to do a lot more.
good information. Well, I guess if we were interested in moving forward, are we just looking at any kind of a motion to move forward with negotiations with NextEra, or how are we looking at it? What do you want from us?
Yes, I just would like to see if I can get an agreement to move forward.
Okay, so then if we were to have a motion today, then we would, we would come back, you would come back with that document, and then we'd probably have another motion to approve that agreement as presented. Okay.
So today's action would just be to,
Purely for the easement.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
go forward
Go ahead
with
with the
the
project.
easement agreements as will be shown.
And we won't have request signatures or anything until after your county attorney has approved everything and it's been reviewed, and any changes that she wants made, she can request to have those changes made, and it'll just be much quicker.
Yeah. All right, well, I think this has got a lot of potential for benefits to county programs and benefits. I would make a motion to move forward with the easement on the Newton Township railroad bed.
I'll second that.
Motion Derby and a second from Smith to go ahead with the easement, Newton Township for the railroad property. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Scott's back.
All right. Scott Minor, the engineer, will discuss secondary road matters.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a project in progress right now that I came from and can give you a little update on. Our county crew is working on a gravel road stabilization project with the dust pods product. The dust pods rep is on site to help to coach us through the process. They started at 6 a.m. They mixed the product with water in a tanker and sprayed on the road from several different passes and kind of mix it back and forth with the scarifier and maintainers. Two maintainers out there right now. They're working on the first mile, which is 150th Avenue from Highway 9 going south.
So you have it kind of closed off just for local traffic?
I wouldn't say that. It's right now the window when I left there was maybe 2 foot tall, but on both sides of it was easily drivable. So
Not much different than a regular road grading.
just a little bit bigger window is all, but otherwise pretty well the same. And of course we got trucks with plates and the water truck and 2 maintainers, so there's a little more equipment out there. But I would think by 11 o'clock they'd be getting the grade fine tuned and rolling it and looking to hopefully move on to the second mile south from there yet today. I'm not sure if he's got the water truck rented for a day, or I'm not sure, but it's one of the factors trying to get done today in the forecast, of course, too. You're looking for a good moisture in the road, but not raining. So we kind of hit it just right here today. We got a little shot of rain the other day. We put a little extra water on it yesterday, and then all the water that comes with the solution of material they put on there. So this road, when it's finally rolled and cured after a day and a half, 2 days, it'll be like a hard surface road way. It should have very minimal dust. It won't require any blading through the summer unless we have some flower pockets that show up. And so our intent is to be entirely hands-off with this road all summer. And see how it weathers through the winter and have minimal blading going forward for the next few years. That's the intent of the project.
So, was there anybody that needed to be notified on that, on those roads ahead of time, or I'm wondering about the north side into Bryce Lake, will people need to be notified when you do that one?
I mean, we didn't on this stretch, and we've had plenty of traffic working around
Sure.
us. If
I
it's
just think
like-
they're gonna be happy and excited about
Sure.
it, so it's a little PR.
Sure, we didn't
actually.
really advertise this one because it's a process we haven't done before, and so there's a lot of
Yeah,
unknowns with
I
it.
guess, yeah.
But it seems to be going fine. We seem to have the right equipment out there
Mm.
that's capable of doing what we are required to do for the product.
There's just one scare fire then, or both?
Just
of them?
one scare fire in front of one maintainer. It's, I don't know, maybe 6 feet wide. So that's, I mean, one of the limiting factors is we have to make
Multiple.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe a couple
fires
dozen
wide.
passes, and first with the scare fire, and then with the maintainers to windrow up the material, and then mix it, then lay it back down, then roll it. So it's just several passes, and that's maybe the part. It takes time in addition to filling up the truck with water, which he said doesn't need to be a municipal or well source. So we're trying to figure out ways to get faster water. They got an extra tank out there that they're pumping from to try and speed up the truck filling process. But I guess we're looking at all options for the other ones, fire hydrant or some other way to get fast water that's not gonna cost too much.
How many gallons per day do you figure?
Well, I thought it was 12,000 a mile, 12,000 gallons, and he said, well, it depends on the type of day, it depends on the moisture and the material, and I think they'll end up hauling more than that out there, somewhere between 12 and 1,500, I think. So it just, we got a 4,000 gallon truck, and it just takes a few times to refill it, and
I imagine all the farmers are probably using their water tanks right now for, when we were farming, we had big water tanks that we could come in and we could load fast and get out of there.
yeah, they have one that they borrowed for that purpose today. So it's going fine. While we're doing our first trial, it's nice not to have things working too fast. It's humid and not drying out super fast. Dry day where it's windy might be a problem to keep ahead of the moisture.
I don't know what the cost is, but I know in Thompson, they load out trucks there from a fire hydrant.
Mhm.
So that's what I know on that. If I can shoot you an update, or you can stop by later if you want. So a couple other things looking forward. We have microsurfacing on A38 from Leland to the church for next week, possibly. We also possibly may have Yule Brothers or their subcontractors here to start on Rice Lake, the 235th out there. We'll have a little bit of milling work to do, and then they'll have a reclaiming operation, followed by kind of a maintainer and fine tune the grade and rolling process, and then pavement to follow. And they're planning to repave the parking lot at Rice Lake at the same time, so there might be some overlap back and forth there. It should just take a week or so to kind of do all that if it all lines up perfect when we did.
So how will the edges be? How did you end up with, how wide what they call that edge on the road?
Shoulder.
The shoulder, how wide?
Probably like a foot.
So, yeah.
I mean, at some spots it's a lot flatter and wider, but
Mhm.
some spots it's not.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything about that unless we hauled in a large amount of dirt, which there's potential that could happen. But we're most likely just gonna put enough material there to get a foot next to it so the edge of the pavement's not bare.
Mhm.
The restriction there is when you start hauling in dirt for more shoulders, then you're limiting how wide the ditch is then. It's
Yeah,
pretty tight.
the ditches through there are not working the best anyway. So there's tile on the golf course side that's, I think, does sufficient job. The field side needs some work if it were to work like a normal ditch, but I don't see that it's negatively affecting the farm either, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's narrow, it's just a 66-foot right of way there, just like a gravel road is, so compared to pavements with wide shoulders and ditches, there really isn't room for that to be ideal.
When did you say that was gonna happen?
June 15 is the date that is, I've been provided. This kinds of projects sometimes show up earlier than expected or later, or sometimes with short notice, especially if they're small like this one. So try to keep everybody in the loop. I am leaving Thursday for vacation, and I'll be out for a while. So I'll have a phone with me with an international plan, but you'd be better served by calling our office and talking to Ethan or Eric or Rachel, or calling Ethan. They ought to be set up to take care of anything you need. Probably won't get into any of our bridge replacement projects until I get back. So I think they'll be pretty heavy on the work orders, doing culvert separations and tile repairs and miscellaneous ditch cleaning and that kind of stuff. Our guys will be pretty well sticking to that stuff.
I think it's probably good to do before you get going on the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, we try to cram as much as we can into the spring before we get going on those projects, because from the day we start, we'll have our older crew tied up for probably 3 months. 2 months, 2 to 3 months, depending on how weather goes. And, you know, 4th of July holiday happens and the guys mostly take off quite some time around there. And then the following week, we try to dig into things and, you know, get started on bigger projects. We're cooperating with D&E Solutions on the culvert replacement that came up all of a sudden off the junction. So we took a couple quotes on just the equipment and labor for that, just to try and keep things moving. You know, that one's got a big smash in it, so we kind of wanted to move it up in priority, and we've got kind of a schedule that's pretty full for our own guys. So they'll be bringing in their excavators and dozers and doing all the digging, and they'll call for loads of rock just like our guys do, and our guys will haul it, and so we'll kind of work together on it like that. I think it'll work pretty good. That's supposed to be in the next month to 6 weeks. Told them we wanted a pretty tight time frame on that. Sounds like it should work. That pipe should be delivered any day.
Do you have a dollar amount on that? I can't remember what you said.
Probably didn't. Haven't had one until now. The labor and equipment contract is in the more than 30,000, less than 40. I don't have the number with me. And then the culvert pipe is in that same range also. So, you know, we might have a $80,000 project or a little better by the time we buy a couple loads of rock and couple of driveway pipes and whatever else is needed. Rock for the surface. That's something we haven't really done before, so for the sake of timeline, I think it's a good opportunity, and it's the type of project that's kind of easy to quote. You know, like if we were to quote 10 culvert fixes or something like that, there's kind of a whole lot of things that are gonna make it go up and down, how much time it takes and what things are required, but this one's pretty cut and dry, so we just decided to take the opportunity and try something a little bit different and good. I believe that's what I have for updates today. Is there any?
I have a question on that road going west out of Leland.
West Valley,
Any way to put some riprap in there to hold that bank that's been eroding?
on the back slope.
Yeah. I don't know where, will it force it to go around?
Well, I mean, there's riprap is a double-edged sword because it will work and stabilize the slope, but the sediment's still going to pour out of that field, and then our guys will try to be cleaning a ditch with riprap in the bottom. And so basically, what they have to do is pull it all out one piece at a time, clean the ditch again, and then place it all back one piece at a time. Yeah, do we want to do that every time? I don't know.
What it
There's a
really
better
needs is
fix
some
than that,
type
I
of-
think, out there.
It needs a filter strip or something is what it really needs, right?
That's what I would say.
It's still, even if you had a filter strip there, I think the pressure would be there. The flow would eat away at that slope.
Possible.
Yeah.
Just, filter strip absorbs so much more. Has potential to, and it slows the water down.
That
It has
was,
the
yeah.
potential to.
The slowing the water is kind of what that spot really needs.
Yeah, that spot's kind of head scratcher.
And we probably won't be able to talk to farmers into any kind of a catch basin there, prep or anything like that involved.
And you can string a silt fence across there or something. That traps water and helps with erosion, but it's something to work around. You could strip filter silt fences several times along there, and that would help. But you'd have to farm around it, and there'd have to be the grass waterway to start. I think we can certainly clean it out again. I don't know what we can do to prevent it from happening other than get participation from the farmer.
So when that water spills over there, it's really, if it hits the ditch and then it's supposed to go south.
It's supposed to go south, and the ditch has tall grass, so it's just a big filter. So the water goes down the ditch, and all the sediment gets left behind. So you get these windrows and piles of siltation. Corn stalks, if that's the case too, and all that just breaks down into it. Till it fills up the ditch, and then you got water cutting the edge of the road off.
That's what happened the last time.
Yeah.
Got into the road.
And then it's dangerous,
Yeah.
They'll come flying around those curves and don't know it's washed out,
Right.
On to number 7, Canvas 2026 primary election.
Starting to.
So there's 4 packets. The first packet that you have, Susan, is for us, for our canvas. The second packet that Terry has is for the state, and the 2 smaller packets are for the county chairs. So like the Republican chair and the Democrat chair.
Maybe I'll pass this down to Bill, because his name is gonna be first on there anyway. You want your stamper?
I've got mine, but I'm just gonna break today.
How did it all go, Carla? Was it pretty smooth this year?
There's always interesting things that happen, but it overall went well.
It seemed like there was a lot more undervotes this year for a lot of this, or
I think it's pretty typical to have about that many. Of course, the Democratic side for a lot of the things didn't have any candidates, so there's always going to be undervotes there. I did an administrative recount of the absentees this year. And that went fine. Had them in the absentee board in the next morning and they ran them all through again and everything matched. Just, I wanted to,
How many people are on that board that you call in?
well, 4.
4.
Mhm. I have to have at least 3 and I can have as many as I want, but I had 4 this year.
And that includes you?
No, that is, it is election workers, poll workers that I've hired.
Nobody ever realizes how much work goes into those elections.
Mhm. And so we still have, after the canvas on Thursday, we have an audit that we do. So we bring in, I have 3 poll workers coming in, and we'll hand count all the ballots in Mount Valley precinct, I think is what the secretary chose for this year. And then they hand count 2 races
Okay.
so that we can make sure it matches with our machines. It always has, so that's good.
So they just randomly choose a,
Yeah, the secretary chooses 2 races and a precinct. That's on Thursday morning at 9, and anyone's welcome to attend.
oh, you counted down 2 and I counted down 3, so
It's in the space because that was kind of tight.
I know he has a pretty big ticket. Did you put out an announcement that there'll be a pool party today in the fountain?
No,
Is it
We'll have to start next week.
lesson start next week? Okay.
I always keep the custodians involved.
speaking of the fountain,
They work really hard on that.
Yeah,
You gotta
I-
give them
yes, they do.
kudos because that's a lot of,
I applied for a grant from the American Legion Foundation and I did not receive it, so I'm disappointed, but
just gotta keep trying, don't we?
mhm.
A lot of people that, throw past there with their kids and stuff and go around it, but they never go up to read the board on how it all came to be, A lot of information.
We used to joke that the water fountain that was right out there, that was just the fountain water. But came in that fountain, or the drinking.
Oh,
Was it?
no. I wouldn't drink the fountain water. I see a lot of things go in that water. A lot of people, a lot of dogs,
Some dogs.
that fountain water.
Not that going forward.
Mm-mm.
Get the diapers on, waiting in it.
All sorts of stuff.
It's been a few years since I've seen that, though. Maybe you have, but I only saw it. It was
Yeah, there's a lot
4 or
going
5
on
years
out there.
ago. I remember there was a couple little toddlers splashing in it. I'm like, these aren't supposed to be in there, but it sure looked like they were having fun. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I also, there's electricity that runs like right through there, so
Really?
it makes me nervous when I see
Yeah.
like kids splashing around in there, but it should be all grounded, but
Did we get any Mickey Mouse ones that were write-ins or anything?
there was a few write-ins. Are they in the big book or
Must be
did?
it now, 'cause
I didn't see
Yeah.
it yet, Kate. Always interesting to see who the write-ins are. Okay. That's some curious ones.
That's why we're
watching the movie last night, late. Couldn't stop watching.
There's your
You
ratings.
ever seen that? They have a fountain in the earth underneath it,
Oh, yes.
finding all that coins. If we have one of those under here. Connected to the Winnebago River and the ship that one I Jack is in.
You know that whole movie was based on the Odyssey? The whole movie is based on the
What movie?
The Goonies.
Goonies.
Oh,
And the one-eyed guy and the Cyclops that's in there and the sirens. It's an old story.
We were up in Astoria, Oregon.
Really?
We did not see that ship. We did not see that fountain. Well, at least we don't take 2 to 3 weeks to count the votes. Allow voter verification through a gym pass or something. Unbelievable.
Ted Gassman will be happy to hear that he's been written in a number of times to come out of retirement.
was it every single race? I think so. Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
Mhm.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the Canvas 2026 primary election canvas.
I'll second the motion.
Motion Smith and second Derby to approve the canvas for the 2026 election. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
do open forum while we're signing.
Okay. I just have one thing, for fiscal year 27, there are 27 pay periods in the fiscal year. So we're gonna need to adjust our payroll. And so I will have a couple of resolutions, hopefully for next week, on how we're gonna tackle that. I talked to our external auditor, and she feels we need to change. Right now we pay kind of by pay periods for the salaried, and we pay by hours for the hourly people. And she wants us to change to pay per day for the salaried people. So I need to look into how that'll
Break it
affect
down, so.
the first payroll of July, and so I got a little bit of work to do before July on
What's your
changing.
thought process on that?
So the way we do it right now, she's saying that the salaried people get paid ahead. And,
What's to make it more equitable? so
I
you know,
don't. That's what I have to look into, because but we still get paid what we're supposed to get paid. So if we change it and only do, the salary people won't get paid their full salary. So I just need to do some research, look into it, but there will be, like I said, some resolutions that you'll need to sign too when we get it all figured out. Hopefully by next week.
July is coming up.
Yes, it sure is.
Bill, I got a question. Roundtable discussion, we've been contemplating that peat fire. Did we ever get reimbursed for that? Did the county get reimbursed for that peat fire?
We have not.
Are they going to?
It's in litigation.
Okay. That could be a long time.
California vote might be done with it's taken care of.
When the California vote's done now because they got the result they wanted, isn't it over? They usually keep counting until
I don't know. I haven't set my vote.
you know, I'm
yet,
gonna have to
so-
admit, after this primary election, I'm thinking I should do that myself. We should keep counting.
I'm also on the EMS committee. I'm wondering, with the communication issue, do we have to discuss anything on our end on the advisory board about communication? And when is that meeting
We're
gonna?
having a tech meeting on Wednesday, and then we'll have the advisory committee probably the next week.
Okay.
So,
Will there be a conclusion as to what we need for?
It's gonna go, there's a group that's meeting with the communications committee too, right?
That's Monday, isn't it? 22nd?
Yeah. Monday the 22nd or whatever it is.
Monday the 22nd.
That we set that up, so, because it's their budget.
Yeah.
That would implement anything.
Sure. But part of the money that we might be getting might go toward communication. I'm just.
Yeah.
We probably need a number as to what that's gonna be.
Yeah, Joe was directed to look into other options. We heavily talked about the one that Worth and Freeborn and Duke, they're all the same. And so we're trying to find something on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can-
sorry, I have June 18th down for the advisory board.
Okay, good, thank you.
What's the date for that one?
June 18th.
At Thompson.
The tech is at Thompson. We'll probably have the advisory one here. Unless you really want it in Thompson, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I just thought that's what
It's a
I
little
read.
closer
like,
for you now, huh?
Yeah, would we?
6 o'clock, Carla? Just send it to us.
Yeah, that, we usually do 5:30 with the advisory, yeah. I think the tech is at 5:30 also.
Thank you.
Yep. June 22nd, we use the nature center for the EMS meeting with them.
Yes. In the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. What do I say?
Days, should I
Yes.
sign below it so that they have
Yeah.
room for you to?
Same code and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can go to the Wi-Fi.
Yes, that'd be great. We did okay because somebody had a hot spot.
Oh, good.
You got it. They put talk to it.
I always feel sad that people waste their ballot. You know,
But-
and they put in the effort to actually show up and at a,
But maybe they're not happy
Election
with the
site.
choices.
right,
Mickey Mouse is always happy.
This place on earth. So I see I got written in an FC1.
On the Democrat side?
Oh, is that Democrat?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's what's different.
I'll get that done.
There's a lot of signing today. Are you done with these? I have to sign them too. Did all that, and then I had a black pen.
Can I pass this one down really quick for you? I don't lose its place.
Nancy's, there's the meeting.
Well,
Yesterday.
Yes, okay, so
After the meeting,
Jeez, okay.
You had anyone
I have,
You have?
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
I do believe we should
Good to see you.
advertise it though, put it,
Yeah.
you're working on that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, good, thank you. And then it needs to be posted on the, Yeah.
When's that?
that new law
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
I think it's July
July first.
1st, but I'll double check
For posting for the.
for publications.
You gotta put it. So you can't put it like on a bulletin board anymore.
It's gotta be on the outside doors of the courthouse, and it's gotta be on websites, and it's gotta be on the.
The press release. I believe.
We're gonna have to come up with some type of a clear pocket or something that we can put on the door that's more permanent.
you don't want just
Yeah.
a bunch of scotch tape ready to do.
I pulled off a couple of old ones the other day, so we can come up with some.
Bulletin board, anything.
The one in the hallway possibly would work, you put it out in your conservation law.
There you go.
So-
Message board out there.
It says the
Public hearing.
agenda must be published in at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Specifically advise news agencies that has requested the agenda, which is the same as what we have. And post a paper copy in a prominent and conspicuous location that is visible at all times. So post it on the door of the courthouse and post on county websites. There is no exceptions to this. Failure to comply can result in hefty fines and disciplinary action.
It's just meeting notices.
And agendas.
Public meeting notice requirements.
Does
And
it include
agendas.
the agenda or just the notice of the
That there
meeting?
is.
So any like meeting notices, any, I would say public bid lettings, anything that would require a public notice. So like anything that we put in the paper.
Well, like a public hearing that's already part of a board meeting.
So that, I'm still asking though, do you have to have the agenda on that post? Okay. Well, the reason I ask is when I get to it, it'd be easier to have an electronic sign out there where you can just type in, but I suppose if you had
That would-
like, kind of like a monitor out there,
The
where you
computer.
post
Oh,
that
like a-
document on there,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be bad, then you have an outdoor screen.
Because there could be really multiple. I mean, Scott's needing to post something and we have public
Depends on how
hearings.
granular, if you post a meeting, do I also need a separate public hearing if it's part of the meeting? Do I need a
That's a question for Kelsey.
Yeah,
You would think
good
that would be
question.
on the agenda that.
bid letting? It's not what I would think of as a public meeting, even though it's open for public viewing, I suppose.
The problem with putting it on an electronic though is that it would have to scroll of some sort, so if somebody walked up and, I mean, how would you put multiple ones on there?
It doesn't have to be bigger than this.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you have a screen this big, you can have a document.
Yeah.
well, it's like my TV at home doesn't have photos, I can't do that part. Just a continuous slideshow of image.
Any department can connect to that screen to be posted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As long as we don't get it hijacked.
Put it,
Really took up at the right time.
Yeah.
You don't want the Goonies playing on it, is that what you're saying?
Well, I was thinking more like the Kingsman movies where they hijack the whole world screens and put their message on it. Haven't seen those.
Sure, you could set it to like just scroll through a folder, whatever you take in and out of the folder.
You can always do something like a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
It makes sense to be updated, but I'm already.
I could take a picture of you and put it on my road grill right now.
You said.
Flamboyant, he wants it.
Who do you want to? That's the
My
next.
family, my family. Good, there he is.
that made sense.
My kids will notice right away.
I fall asleep on the couch sometimes.
You've seen it.
Any board minute email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna send it
Still reviewing and signing.
to the department heads.
Okay, I think we could probably say we're adjourned.
Oh, good.
You wanna look through that one?
Yeah, we got